So you might have tried stuffing with turkey, but have you added beef before? Today we're making a tasty beef stuffing with apples and cranberries, and joining me now with a sponsored interview is our good friend Jennifer Burns. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, we have a big holiday upon us. I bet everybody probably has their recipes and what they're going to be serving ready, but I've got something to switch it up a little bit, Nisha. I mean, we're used to the regular stuffing and maybe how you've done it all years after years after years. How about switching it to a little beef stuffing, and we're adding in some apples and cranberries.
I wore the pants to match. I had this feeling you would talk apples today. So
apples to apples.
There we go. What do we need for this recipe?
Okay, so we're gonna do the finale and show, you know, the star of the show right here in just a second. But yeah, to get started, Nisha, of course you're gonna use some lean ground beef is what you're gonna do. You're gonna saute that up into a pan until it's browned up. Put in some good seasoning with some onion powder, garlic powder, sage, of course, for something like a stuffing. A little red pepper flakes is quite good. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix in with that, you know, some bread, just cubes. You don't want them seasoned because we're seasoning, like I just said, with what we just talked about, but just some bread cubes. You can buy this in with either like the cornbread or the regular, you know, and then just don't put the seasoning. You can buy that in the box.
It's just personal preference.
Yeah.
I like to mix those two, the cornbread and the regular.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. Okay, and then you're gonna put in 2.5 cups of beef stock into it because you gotta have that moisture. You're gonna get a couple tablespoons of butter in there, of course. Now you're gonna peel your Granny Smith apples. You wanna use Granny Smith because they kind of hold up a little bit better in baking.
Good tip. And they're tart.
They are tart. They are tart. And so you're gonna have a little bit of that crispness still. Peel those, get those into the mixture, and then some dried cranberries is what's going in. And that's it. Now you're gonna get that into the oven and just bake it up like 350 degrees.
So the beef is the star of the show.
The beef is the star.
Got that crunch with the apple and the sweetness of the cranberry. I love the combination.
The balance works so well on this one. Okay, if you'll reveal our star.
It's time for the big reveal.
It's time. Right.
Okay, I've not seen stuffing with beef before, so I feel like this is a big reveal for all of us.
I think it might change for the rest of time.
Look how golden that
is
on top. It smells divine.
Doesn't that look delicious? Just piping hot out of the oven. You got all that moisture because of that beef stock we put in there. Everything's kind of softened up. You see just the glistening of the cranberries there. You got that apple in there, and then the combination with that beef is so good.
Do you want to serve it? I'll give you this, and while we're talking, or should I serve it?
I'm going to do a little just quick topping here with some green onions.
I like the bite of the green onion.
I do too. And then I'll give you, here's your plate.
So do you do turkey for Christmas, or do you mix it up?
I like to mix it up. I love a good beef roast and just lots of good gravy on everything.
See how that holds together as I'm getting it out of there?
Isn't that
look at that.
Isn't that perfect? Ooh. And you can see the moisture still in there,
Can I take a little bite right there?
Take a bite,
I want to make sure I get, you know, the perfect bite with the beef in there and the cranberries and the apples.
Absolutely.
That's delicious.
Isn't that good?
I'll
give that to you. That's for you.
Well, it's different.
It is different, and that's just the thing. You know, we have our traditions, and you don't want to, you know, change everything up, but just a little different of doing something just like a little beef in your dressing, and, you know, it's just a completely different dish.
I feel like everyone that's eating says, wait a second, like you turn stuffing around for me. Because sometimes it's just too dry.
It is, and that's another thing with that beef is that it does actually add into some of that moisture. You've got some good nutrients in that as well. And I love this, Nisha, at utahbeef.org. They've got so many good tips, and we're all looking for good cooking tips this time of year because we're a little overwhelmed with all that we have going on. So that's a good place, and then you can get this recipe there as well.
Go to our website, too. You're nice enough to share, abc4.com/GTU, but utahbeef.org, a good place to start.
It is.
When I go in for another bite, you know it's good. Our thanks to the Utah Beef Council for this sponsored recipe. Good to see you.
Good to see you, my friend.